Whatever you brew, whatever you stew, sooner or later comes back to you. This is a rhyme that we would teach the kids the Sunday before Halloween. There's actually a book, there's a whole book that goes with it, and I can't remember the name of the book. That always stuck with me. Whatever you brew, whatever you stew, sooner or later comes back to you. For some churches, the autumn celebration doesn't stop with fall festivals. October 31st actually begins a 3-day observance and celebration of All Hallowtide, which is a combination of Halloween, All Saints' Day, and All Souls' Day. Now, according to the dictionary, the word Halloween is a direct derivative of All Saints' Day, with All Hallows in Old English meaning the Feast of the Saints. To hallow is to make holy or sacred, to sanctify or consecrate, to venerate. So I have to admit that Halloween, growing up, Halloween was my least favorite holiday. I just didn't get it. Why on earth do we want to dress up and go around from door to door, knock on the door, and ask for candy? I just didn't get it. I wanted the candy, mind you. That didn't stop me. Nobody ever explained to me what it was all about. So fast forward, I become an adult and I learn about All Saints' Day and All Souls' Day. And All Saints' Day is the day, it is on November 1st, and it's the day that we honor all the saints. We remember the saints and those who were martyred for their faith. All Souls' Day is November 2nd, and that's the day that we remember all souls, all the souls that have gone before us, who have paved the road before us. For that, you know, they were those who created transformational experiences in their own lives that paved the road for us to be able to live the way we live today. I'm thinking about this upcoming Israel trip, and which takes me back 2,000 years, and it's like, 2,000 years ago versus living today. A huge difference. There's a huge difference. And so it's about recognizing the holiness in the people who went before us. In Mexico, they celebrate Dia de los Muertos, which is the Day of the Dead. And they actually dress up like their ancestors, and they go to the grave and they take their ancestors' favorite foods and they have picnics at the grave. And we might think, okay, that's a little weird. And when I first heard about it, I thought, oh, that's a little weird. But that's how they honor those who went before them. That's how they hallow them. That is how they see their holiness. They see their holiness in that moment. And we too are called to remember and to see the holiness of those who have gone before us. There's power in remembering. those who have gone before us, to remember the gifts that they have given us, and to celebrate those gifts, to celebrate the person that they were, not who we wanted them to be, but who they actually were in our lives, and what were the gifts that they actually brought. So fall is a sacred time of letting go. Part of honoring someone's holiness is letting go of ideas that we may have held about that person. Another word that we use for that is forgiveness. But it's about letting go of what it is that we have held on. And as we walk around outside, we see the colors of the trees and how the trees are changing color. And everything is turning into this golden yellow. And it's because the trees are preparing to let go. The crops are completing their fruiting, and so they're completing that time. So it was really a time to be grateful for all that good that we have received, from the summer and the bountifulness of summer. And so that's one thing that we can add into our pot to brew and stew. So I just want you to imagine that you have a big old, like a big cast iron pot, cauldron, a deep one. Yeah, because and you got that big spoon. Yeah, you got it, Katie. We're gonna do this. Whatever you brew, whatever you stew, sooner or later comes back to you. So one of the things that we want to put into our cauldron is we want to put in all that good that we received. Our gratitude for all that good that we have received. We want to put that in there. We want to brew and stew on that for a while. But what else do we want to add to our cauldron? If we add to our cauldron from a conscious level, not from the level of unconsciousness where we're just kind of letting our random thoughts go into the pot, and we're going to brew and stew on those, little fear and some worry, there's a little worry in there, and discontent, and a little anger in there, resentment. Is that what we want to brew and stew? Or do we want to come up with new ideas of what it is that we would like to express, new ideas of what our life is about? What is the hallowedness of our own life? What are the gifts that we are leaving for others to celebrate in the coming years? So in his book, Magnificent Decision, James Decker has a 4-step process for getting those divine ideas, of really settling in to those divine ideas and really being able to determine, because isn't that one of the questions that often comes up? Okay, I've got this idea, but I don't know if it's a God idea or if it's an ego idea. Just don't know. What does God want me to do? So the first step is to comprehend, to understand understand what it is that we want. Because so often what we do is we put so many different ingredients into the cauldron that we're not actually making anything that we would want to eat. Right? We're just putting random thoughts in there. Oh, this person thinks that I should be this way, I'll put that in there. And this person thinks this, and my fear thinks of this, but what I really want is this. And so it's really about asking that question about, what do I really want? Now, I'm going to tell you that my experience has been that when I ask the question, what I want, so what do I want? There's going to be some surface answer that pops up. Some surface answer. Oh, if only this person would love me, then I'll be okay. If only I have a new car, that will make me okay. That's what I really want. But when we ask the question, after we ask the question of what we want, if we ask the question, why? Why do I want that? And if the answer is because it will make me whole, or it will make me happy, we need to dig farther. But why do I really want it? What is it what is that really going to bring into my life? And we dig deeper. And when we dig down deeper, and we get down to what I really want, what I really want is I want to know that I am loved. Oh, I can put that in my cauldron. I am loved. It's different than, oh, I just want this person to really like me. I want to have that special person in my life. The second step is conditioning. We must condition our minds to receive new ideas. So we talk about prayer is consciousness conditioning. So affirmation and denial. Conditioning our mind. So it's about letting go of the old beliefs that we have held on to that tell us that we're small, that we're insignificant, that we're not holy. Don't think too much of yourself now. To change that around. To change that around and take it into a place where we affirm the truth. Now, when we affirm the truth, we are aware that the truth may not be what is actually showing up in this moment. But this is all about the creative process. We're creating something here, so we're going to put the truth in our little cauldron to condition our consciousness so that as we do this, as we condition our consciousness, we are preparing the ground, we're preparing the space for new ideas to come forth. New ideas, ideas that you've never thought of before. So it's not about, oh, well, okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to think about what's a new idea. Well, 15 years ago, what I did was, that's not a new idea. That's an idea that was 15 years ago. What is that new idea that is current in this moment? We are at a pivotal time in history. Now, all time in history is pivotal. I'm just going to say that. Because it's a time when the people who are alive in that time in history are transforming and are creating life anew. And that makes it a pivotal time in history. But that doesn't downplay that we are at a pivotal time in history. We are at a time in history when we are looking at, from a race consciousness standpoint, we are looking at old beliefs that we have held for a very long time, that it's time for them to come up and to be released. And for us to step into something new. And I am talking about race and ethnicity. I'm talking about sexual orientation. I'm talking about gender issues. Did you think that the war of the sexes was over? Yeah, we've been doing it for a while, so, you know, the war of the sexes surely is over by now, right? We've come a long way. But I'll tell you, I had an experience a couple of days ago that left my mouth hanging open. Literally, I had no response. So I'm talking to my daughter on the phone and she's telling me that both of my granddaughters, one's in middle school and one's in high school, both of them are being harassed by boys at school in subtle ways, being told that they belong in the kitchen. Oh. Now I'm going. Literally, I mean, I have nothing to, what do you say to that? It's like, I thought we were done with that. I thought we were done with that. And this is a liberal community. And I'm like, how can that be? And then I thought, when we're in stress, we revert to the old rut. We revert to the old rut. So we go back to old beliefs that we thought that we had healed, that we thought were gone. And so we're always being called to be consciously aware. What is it that we're thinking? What is it that we are brewing and stewing? What are we putting into our cauldron? And not just for us, but for those around us. Because I'll tell you, these little boys didn't get that by themselves. So that was, sorry, that was my little rant for the day. But I think it's an important one. Because I think our eyes have to be open. Because if we're at a pivotal time in history, and if we are going to condition our own minds, we need to know the importance of that conditioning. It is not a step to be skipped. The third step is concentrating. This is when we concentrate on the good we want instead of bemoaning what we feel we lack. So we concentrate on finding the ideas that will move us forward. So when we concentrate on what we want from an open field perspective. From an open field perspective. And there's a couple of ways that this can take place. It can take place where we just allow whatever ideas want to come in and maybe we write them down. You know, just like a brainstorming thing. You just write down all sorts of ideas. Now that doesn't mean that you need to do all those ideas. It doesn't mean that you're even meant to do all those ideas. Some of those ideas will be old ideas. You'll look at them and you'll go, oh, no, that's an old idea. Some of them will ignite an energy within you. An energy that says, yeah, could be fun. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. And so we create a space. We create a space for having ideas. And we allow that to come in. Now, I do want to say that what works well for someone else and what would be the perfect idea for someone else may not be the perfect idea for you. So it's not about comparing ourselves with someone else. Because anytime that we compare ourselves with someone else, guess who comes out on the low end of the stick? I mean, I have very rarely, when there's a comparison going on, does the person who is doing the comparing come out on the upper end of the stick. So it's not about comparing ourselves with someone else. It's about what is that individual idea that is trying to be birthed within us. What is that individual idea that wants to be birthed? So the next step is choose. Make a choice. And then give it time to unfold. And see, that's sometimes where we get lost is we make a choice, and if it doesn't show up in the next 5 minutes, give it 5 minutes. If it doesn't show up in the next 5 minutes, then, oh, maybe I made the wrong choice. I better choose, I better make a different choice. No, you gotta be with the choice that you make. Brew it and stew it. Allow it to come into fruition. Give it space to grow and to mature. So we choose. Now, one of the things that people ask me the most is, how do I know if the choice that I'm making is the right choice? Any choice you make is the right choice. It's the right choice in that moment. And if it's not the right choice, if we have surrendered the process, if we have surrendered the whole process to Spirit, then Spirit will direct us to the right choice. Spirit is not limited by our conscious choice. And so we don't have to worry and fret about, am I making the right choice? Is this the right thing to do? So there's a study that was done that I love this study. So they're at like a fair and they have all these homemade jams. And there's 25 different flavors. And so they put them all out. And you can come by and you can taste all 25 flavors. And the idea is that if you taste the flavors, then you'll buy the jam, right? Good marketing scheme, right? So lots of people stop and they taste the jams and then they just leave. And very few people actually buy jam. So they decided to put up 5 jars. 5 jars of jam and let people come by and taste the jam and see what happens. Fewer people stopped to taste the jam, but they sold significantly more jars of jam. Now, the reason I talk about this is because they made it, it's about that, it's about choice on several levels. It's about recognizing that when we're in that place of, oh, well, I could do this, or I could do that, or I could do this, or I could do that, or I don't know about you, but I just kind of throw my hands up in the air and go, yeah, too much, it's too much. I'm not gonna make a choice, which is a choice. So instead of not making a choice, if we bring our ideas down to what is that, go back to the original, what do I want? What do I want? Then you're gonna be able to hone down the ideas. And again, part of that is it's prayerful, is feeling, and it's using the power of our imagination. Using the power of our imagination to know what it is that we're experiencing. What is it? What is it? How do I feel about this? How does it feel when I think about moving forward with this? And if you have butterflies in your stomach, that does not mean that it's not for you to do. Sometimes it's very hard to tell the difference between fear and excitement. So if you feel butterflies in your stomach, you might want to sit with that one. Sit with that idea and ask yourself about that. A truth principle that I used for a very long time was I'm on an as need to know basis. What I need to know, Spirit makes sure I know. And I think that that's a great principle to use in this whole process of what is it that we want? Because if we are on an as need to know basis, then Spirit reveals to us what it is that we need to let go of and what that we need to affirm is true about ourselves. Spirit reveals to us those ideas that would be the best way for us to move forward, us personally to move forward. Spirit reveals to us the choices that we are there to make at that time and in that place. And so we don't have to fret and worry and try to figure it out from an intellectual standpoint. We trust. We trust that Spirit will reveal to us absolutely everything that we need to know. Absolutely everything that we need to know. And so whatever we brew, whatever we stew, sooner or later comes back to you. There's a lot of responsibility in that. But as spiritual adults, we are responsible. And we take that responsibility seriously. And we step into that responsibility, knowing that no matter what, Spirit is always present through the whole process. And so, as we enter into this time of All Hallowtide, I love that word, All Hallowtide. You know, it's like looking at everything as being holy. Everyone and everything. As we enter into that, I really invite you to enter into a place of remembering those who have gone before us. Remembering those who have gone before us. Who were at a pivotal time in history, in their history. And they stood up and they walked that path. They had courage and strength. They demonstrated for us what courage and strength looks like. demonstrated for us what holiness looks like. And in that, recognizing our own holiness. Honoring and celebrating our own holiness. And that which we are becoming as we unfold in this spiritual journey. So let's take that into meditation. So I just invite you to become comfortable. And a couple of weeks ago when I was talking, I talked about the difference between faith and trust. And I said, faith is believing that the chair can hold you. Trust is actually sitting in the chair. So I invite you to trust, to let go, and to allow. To allow the physical chair to support your body. And to allow presence of spirit within you to support your soul. Breathing into this space and knowing the holiness of the breath, the holiness of the breath itself. Life. We just breathe in to this sacred space, knowing our connection with each other. We are connected. Divinely connected. That though there are many forms of us, many expressions, that it is all of those that make up the oneness, the wholeness, that is God. It takes all of those expressions, expressing their true self in this world. To transform the consciousness, that old consciousness of lack and limitation, of separation, and to hold a consciousness of wholeness, of love, of peace. A consciousness of hope. So we take a time in the silence to just be in this sacred space. Recognizing that we are on an as need to know basis. That Spirit reveals to us what we need to know. holding this sacred space, we allow ourselves to become grateful. We allow that gratitude to well up within us, and there may be things in particular that we want to say thank you for. Thank you for. Thank you. I am so grateful. I am living from a consciousness of deep, abiding appreciation. And I am so grateful. And so staying in that place of gratitude, holding this consciousness. We just take in another sacred breath, and as we do so, we prepare to bring our awareness fully back to this present moment, to this present space. And when you're ready, open your eyes.